Today on Thursday Theater, I'm with Tony Enrico, and we're talking about business and building communities. It's Thursday Theater, friends. Good to have you with us this morning, and it's great to have Tony Enrico, Strategy Execution Leader, Fractional CEO, COO, and VP of Sales. Tony, good to see you.
Thanks for having me, Russ.
Well, this is a man who I've gotten to know over the last 4 years, and one of the interesting things when I first got to hear him was as a business consultant, which is his world, and I learned just what a strategic thinker he is, and I got to know him as that man, and he has helped me quite a bit in my work. So, Tony, tell us about that world of consulting to the business world.
Well, you know, Russ, it's been a fantastic journey. As you know, I spent a lot of time running some bigger companies, and much of my career was in very large companies, and it's been fantastic being able to spend a lot of time spending time with business owners and CEOs and executive teams and their organizations here in Orange County and Los Angeles, really helping them think through how they're going to position their business and really ultimately execute and implement the plans that they've laid out for long-term success.
And is it difficult to get these leaders on task?
Some are more difficult than others.
I bet.
Some are more difficult than others, but naturally, if somebody's willing to actually have the conversation and we find that synergy and they ultimately decide to have me join their team as an adjunct member of their executive staff, they've reached that readiness level.
I see.
And ultimately then we really work to build a strong relationship and respect and understand what they've done to this point that's allowed them to succeed, but at the same token really start to take a very candid and objective look at what's out there and what they might be doing in order to better their business, in order to build and sustain growth over the longer term.
When do you know it's really happening with a company in that change that you bring?
You know, it's a great question. You know, I think ultimately all of these folks are really smart and very capable. And the real telltale sign is when they start to internalize and the energy level, the attitudes within the organization really start to elevate, and they start to demonstrate the things that they've committed to. It's so easy to put plans in place, and it's so equally easy to not follow through. And when individuals start to really internalize and fully embrace the plans that we ultimately craft, and they start taking the steps over long periods of time, 6 months to a year, that's when you know you've made a profound change.
And do you find that just by you being there as that change agent along with others, that the belief is possibilities are here?
You know, I think that certainly contributes. I think we're all capable of rising to a much, much higher level than we oftentimes give ourselves credit for.
Absolutely.
And it's when we get that very constructive, positive mirror that reflects back who we really are, and then we start to link that to our day in and day out activities, that people start to find within themselves what they always had, but in a lot of ways has just been submissed or pushed down. And when that happens, we naturally see people really finding themselves again and really taking it upon themselves and their organization to really propel forward. But equally, they start to really get excited about, well, how high is high and what's next? And so that's when the process of really starting to explore and understand where things might go, as opposed to just focusing on that here and now that may have started our original engagement.
Yes. In my world, friends, that's called giving hope. And Tony gives hope in a very concrete way to the world of influence that he brings to the business and professional communities that he does serve. Tony, you know, one of the things I love doing in these Thursday conversations is talking about what we call the give back, where you find an opportunity to, call it pro bono, but just the opportunity to reach out and touch the world with who you are. So what's going on in your world about that?
Oh, goodness, Russ. A few different things. First, I've had the privilege to be invited in to speak to a number of different organizations. So HR functions, HR organizations, logistics organizations, CEO groups, and being able to share one's personal experiences, as you know, as we've discussed in the past, experience is by far one of the greatest teachers in life. And being able to tap in and learn from other people and their experiences, but also in the context of sharing my own, has been really rewarding and very beneficial, I think, to the folks that I've had the privilege to engage. So doing those types of presentations has been a fantastic opportunity and experience.
Well, Tony, you were also telling me about this idea that's just kind of beginning to be explored about the gifts to the small business community here locally. Tell us just what's the thinking that's in that stage in your development right now.
Well, I appreciate you bringing that up, Russ. In a lot of ways, commerce is really the driver of so much of what goes on in our obviously the economy, but the world in which we live. And these smaller business owners are the backbone of not only the United States, but also I think in a lot of ways the future of where we're trying to take things. And in the idea that we're working with and kicking around along with a small group of colleagues of mine are really trying to figure out ways in which we can connect with and really touch the small business owner, the small business CEO within local communities and create the synergy at really the local level that can really begin to not only take best practices and new ways of looking at what they've been doing all their lives, but help each other in the process of growing their enterprise. Yeah. And it's really in the infant stage, really thinking deeply about how that might come together, but nonetheless in the terms of just reaching out and creating those connects and really fully appreciating where people are at and then being able to provide some sort of give back is a big focus that I'm investing in over the next couple of months and certainly a part of 2016.
Well, there you have it, friends. It's that story we hear on Thursday. Now, certainly I'm prompting that story, but the richness of the story is that everybody wants to find their way to not only bring their professional skills to others, but to integrate their personal gifts and talents to bring good of influence to the world. So, Tony, wonderful to have you with me this morning.
Thank you for the opportunity, Russ.
And friends, good to have you with me. Have a great week. We'll see you next Thursday on Thursday Theater. And if you'd like to subscribe, go to www.passkeys.org. Take care. Bye-bye.